everyone. What is up, you guys? It is episode 43 of the Sci-Fly Zone, and today's destination is going to be taking us back to Major League Baseball as we are going to be doing an overall playoff update. We're just going to be going through all the games that have happened so far and that kind of stuff. It's going to be really great. And really quick, since this is episode 43, you guys might be wondering, where's episode 42? Ask Disney. They copyright struck our video almost immediately. It was going to be a Marvel Zombies breakdown and review. So we are currently disputing that. So if that ends up needing to be re-edited, then that will become a different episode than episode 42. But as of right now, that was supposed to be episode 42. This is episode 43. So if there's any confusion, hopefully that clears it up. But if you guys see our video back where it's supposed to be, then please go check it out. It's a really great video. Marvel Zombies was a great show. It was awesome. And I think there's a lot of aspects to be appreciated from it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, Disney's back at it again, trying to take the video down. But we're 2-0 so far. We don't plan on losing the series. We're looking for a series sweep against Disney, going 3-0. So, yeah, hopefully that video should be out pretty soon.
Yeah, and speaking of 3-game series, that is all we're going to be talking about today, as we are going through all of the wildcard series and the games that have happened in them so far. So we're going to start off with the American League, and we're going to start off with the Tigers and the Guardians. So game one had a 2-1 final for the Tigers. And this game honestly had a completely different Guardians team than we saw a week ago.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, they needed to make some changes. They've been switching things up for like past month, and yeah, it was a tough game for them, man. It was Tarek Skubal and Gavin Williams going up against each other, so you knew it was going to be a pitching duel, and that's absolutely what it was. 2-1 final. Tarek Skubal with the best starting performance of anyone in the playoffs this year. I mean, he went 7.2 innings. He struck out 14 batters, only allowing 1 run on 3 hits and 3 walks. He was excellent, and he's been great against the Guardians all year, and this was just another great start from Tarek Skubal.
Yeah, and he was hitting triple digits on his fastballs, too, on some of those strikeouts. It was incredible.
Yeah, man, as much as I have been enjoying watching the Guardians do well lately, and I do want the Guardians to keep playing playoff baseball, I also really want to watch Tarek Skubal keep pitching in the playoffs because he could have an incredible postseason.
Yeah, definitely. And also, the Tigers' only 2 runs from this game came from a first inning single by Spencer Torkelson, and then the other came from a go-ahead 7th inning sac bunt by Zach McKinstry. So the Tigers, I mean, they didn't really have a lot of opportunities here with how much of a pitching duel this was, so they really had to take advantage of whatever opportunities they had.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Tarek Skubal has obviously been incredible. He's probably going to win Cy Young again, but Gavin Williams has also been excellent in the second half. So, like, keeping the Tigers to only 2 runs. Neither of those runs were earned, by the way. Really, really tough break for Gavin Williams. That first inning, a single from, I believe it was Kerry Carpenter. The right fielder can't come up with it, so he gets to second. And then another single right after that scores him. Unearned run. Gavin Williams immediately gets out of the inning. So if it weren't for that error, there's no way they score there. And getting taken out of the game as well in the 7th because of an error as well. And then another run and ending up scoring, and that just being the nail in the coffin, because obviously Tarek Skubal was incredible again. But I mean, really, really tough loss for the Guardians. But it does not stay that way for the whole series.
Nope. And Cleveland also went 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position and left 5 on base. Not good. Yeah,
not a good offensive performance. And the only run that they do get is like a very Guardians baseball. It's just the most scrappy run you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Like Angel Martinez with a leadoff infield single. Jose Ramirez walks to move Angel to second. And then Gabriel Arias comes up with 2 outs and hits a chopper over Skubal's head. Ball pops out of his glove. And Angel Martinez is sprinting as hard as he can right when he sees Arias make contact. So he ends up scoring from second base on a chopper that the pitcher fields to give them the only run of their game.
Yeah.
And other than that, I mean, the bats were pretty silent.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Tigers pitching for you.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's game 1. Game 2 saw a completely different Guardians team. The one that we're more used to as of late. A 6-1 final score. And they seemingly just sprang back to life now that their playoff run was on the line.
Yeah, this was a different story for sure. Guardians getting ahead early. Well, different story for both teams, honestly. The Tigers had a completely different approach to this from the pitching standpoint. Obviously, Tarek Skubal almost went 8 full innings in the first game. Casey Mize only going 3 innings here. Did only give up 1 run. He was looking pretty good. Solo home run from George Valera in the first inning. And the Guardians, this was a great start to the game for the Guardians. You know, they're thinking, hey, yeah, yesterday was a bad game. The bats were quiet. It's whatever. That game's over. Today can be a new story. We're getting the bats hot earlier. We're going to keep the bats going, and we're going to win this game, and we're going to come back in the series.
Yeah.
And then they did not score for the next 6 innings. So a little bit more silence for a while. However, when they did come back up in the 8th inning, it was a really big inning for them. They ended up putting 5 runs up. Brian Rocchio had a solo homer. He's been having a pretty crazy week. He's been coming up in some very clutch situations for the Guardians.
Yeah.
And Stephen Kwan and Daniel Schneemann back-to-back doubles. And then a 3-run blast from Bo Naylor puts them up 6-1 in this game. And that's enough behind a very strong Tanner Bybee start. Only gave up 3 runs in 4 2/3, striking out 6 batters. And the bullpen held it down from there. So a much better game for the Guardians. Hopefully they can keep this momentum going in for game 3.
Yeah, and the Guardians only put in, 6, 7 guys on the bump for that game. So, despite having so many pitchers in there and despite allowing 7 hits, only 1 run was surrendered. So they found a way to get out of it and make it work.
Yeah. Bullpen looked great. And obviously the starting pitching for the Guardians has been incredible. So if the bullpen can stay strong, then they're going to be a really tough team to compete with. And I'm just realizing now that if the Guardians do win this series, they will go up against the Seattle Mariners, which means that we'll get Bo Naylor versus Josh Naylor in the ALDS. That would be super cool. Yeah. I would really like that. Game 3 matchup is going to be happening in Cleveland. It's going to be Slade Ciccone versus Jack Flaherty. So I think it's probably going to be advantage to the Guardians, not necessarily because I think Slade Ciccone is going to have a great start, but because I'm less confident in Jack Flaherty. He's been pretty inconsistent this year, so it's a good chance for the Guardians to put up some big numbers.
Yeah, for sure. And I really would love the Guardians to pull through here.
Yeah, me too, man.
And another big thing that happened this game in game 2, a player named Chase DeLauer made his major league debut in center field for Cleveland in an elimination game. And what's crazy is a play that he was involved in possibly saved the whole game because Javier Baez hit a base hit up the middle and he makes a throw to third. And keep in mind, the bases are loaded and the throw is just in time to get the final out before the other run scores. So not only does he keep another run from scoring, but he keeps a possibly huge bases loaded rally from continuing on a very amazing throw. And he's only the 6th guy to ever make his major league debut in the playoffs. Like, if I were to do that, dude, I would be throwing up in the tunnel.
Wow, that is pretty incredible. That is awesome. I mean, being able to not only make your debut in the majors, but in such a high leverage situation, and then also play a big role in one of the highest leverage situations, that is a good way to introduce yourself to the MLB. You know, he's getting his nerves out right now because they're throwing him into the wolves. So that is super cool.
Yeah. And that rally that you were talking about that Cleveland had in the 8th inning, it was off pitcher Troy Melton, which is kind of giving Troy Bolton. But this year, Melton held hitters to a 191 average and a 1.01 whip in 45 innings pitched. So Cleveland did a lot of damage to a pretty good pitcher.
Wow. Yeah, that is surprising. I mean, the Tigers bullpen in general has been pretty solid this year. And I think he only recorded 1 out against them, giving up 4 runs. That's big for the Guardians. They need more innings like that.
Yeah. Also, Detroit, if they really do want to win this game, they need to stop going 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position and leaving 15 on base, because I swear it could have been the Rockies out there melting away in the heat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Jeez. I mean, they've only combined for 3 runs in the first 2 games, so that is not going to be enough. And if it's somehow enough to sneak through this series, it's definitely not going to be enough to get through the ALCS or to the World Series.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
No, doesn't matter how many times Tarek Skubal throws shutout innings, 10 plus strikeouts. You got to have more.
All of it.
Yeah.
So go Cleveland.
Yep.
Spoiler alert, they lost. So sad. But we get more Tarek Skubal. So what are you going to do?
So the Yankees and the Red Sox. Game 1 saw a 3-1 win for Boston. And CJ, our last MLB episode, you mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing this, how Tarek Skubal and Garrett Crochet were going to be two of the most important and probably exciting pitchers to watch in the playoffs this year. And we have seen exactly that. We've already mentioned that Skubal had that amazing performance, 14 Ks, 7 2/3 innings pitched. And Garrett Crochet also pitched the same amount of innings, 7 2/3 with 11 Ks and only 1 earned run. And guess who closed it out? Aroldis Chapman. He just went the rest of the way. Dude, that is dominance.
Yeah, man. Garrett Crochet shutting down the Yankees lineup, silencing the Yankees stadium. I mean, just a great pitching performance by both pitchers, honestly. Both Red Sox pitchers. The lefties were getting the job done. That's all they needed. It was really important to let the bullpen rest. They were able to have more rest time for the next day, which we will get to, was very important. And yeah, man, I mean, Tarek Skubal and Garrett Crochet have been two of the best pitchers in all of baseball. Like, if they keep getting chances in the playoffs, there's no doubt in my mind they're going to keep performing and exceeding everyone's expectations, like no matter how high they might be. And just a reminder, this is Tarek Skubal's first playoff start and his second full season as a starting pitcher. He just turned into a starting pitcher, and he's gonna finish probably second in the Cy Young. Like, it's been incredible, man. And I mean, you mentioned it was a 3-1 final. Max Fried has had a great start too. He threw 6.1 shutout innings, only gave up 4 hits, struck out 6 batters, but he got pulled in the 7th. And Luke Weaver, who has been having a frustrating year, I imagine, for a lot of fans and for probably him for himself, came in and blew the game immediately. I mean, first at bat that he had, Ceddanne Rafaela had an 11-pitch at bat, ending in a walk, making him work really hard. And then Nick Sogard doubled to right, and Masataka Yoshida comes up for a pinch hit at bat, and a 2 RBI single gives them the lead. And they would get one more insurance run in the 9th with a Trevor Story single, stealing second, which, by the way, he had over 30 stolen bases this year. Still kind of blows my mind to think about that. And then Bregman, who was one of the biggest acquisitions in the offseason, doubles to score him for the insurance run. And like you mentioned, Garrett Crochet shut it down. Aroldis Chapman came in and did the exact same thing. Like, two of the best pitchers in baseball this year.
Yeah, very, very well put. And if you had to tell me that Anthony Volpe was going to be the only guy to score a run off of Crochet and have it be a solo homer, I would have thrown a pie in your face.
Yeah, that's not what I was expecting either. But Anthony Volpe, I mean, he's a guy that if the Yankees are going to succeed in this postseason, they really need that out of him. And they need him to keep performing well. And they need him to be more consistent than he was during the regular season.
Yeah, and as a whole, the lineup just needs to be more consistent. 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position. 5 left on base. Not going to get it done.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
So game 2. This was another nail-biter, and probably some of the best back and forth we've seen so far in the playoffs. Almost the entire Yankee lineup recorded hits in this game, along with RBIs from Judge, Rice, and Wells. And the pitching for both teams in this one was really good, but the Yankees used less guys and gave up less runs. So sounds good to me. You know, Rodon went 6 innings pitched, only gave up 4 hits, and got 6 Ks on 3 earned runs, and the bullpen held the Sox down scoreless after that point when he got lifted. And Austin Wells got a 2-out single that scored Jazz Chisholm, who barely beat the throw, by the way. That was a crazy play.
That was very close. Yeah, way closer than I thought it'd be.
Yeah. So just overall, such a great game. Loved it. And game 3 is going to have Schlittler going against Early, who's pitching in the least early game of the whole series. Game 3 in an 8:08 p.m. Eastern starting time game.
Yeah, man, that game 3 pitching matchup is going to be super interesting. Two rookies, two guys who have a combined 18 starts at the major league level, 92.1 innings pitched between the both of them combined. So they're being put up in a big situation. It's a game 3 elimination game. I'm very excited to see how that goes. And with this game 2 game, it was a very competitive game, and it was kind of surprising to me because Brian Bayo, starting pitcher for the Red Sox, went into this game as a Yankee killer for his entire career. He has 11 starts against the Yankees and a 2.35 ERA against them. And Aaron Judge is 2 for 21 career against Brian Bayo going into this game, which is his lowest batting average against any pitcher that he's faced 20 or more times.
Wow.
The lowest. He is kryptonite for the Yankees lineup. But like you said, the Yankees got to him early. A Bellinger 2-out single and Ben Rice with the homer on the first pitch that he sees in the playoffs, mind you. He got after getting benched in the game before, so he's probably going to be playing some more games in the playoffs. I don't think he's going to be getting benched much longer. But yeah, I mean, this was just a super competitive game. The Yankees took the lead a couple times, and the Red Sox tied the game back like almost immediately twice. But yeah, this was a big win for the Yankees. They needed this win, obviously, because if they lost, they were going to get eliminated. Yeah. But like, this was a huge performance. And Trevor Story was the only guy on the Red Sox to get any RBI. He drove in all 3 runs of the game. Had a couple at bats with the bases loaded. He's hitting about 500 with the bases loaded this year. Wow. So he's the guy that you want up there, hitting 350 career with the bases loaded. But if he's the only guy producing for the team, then it's not gonna do, especially against this Yankees lineup.
No, definitely not sustainable. You need most of your guys doing a decent amount of work to make it work on both sides, 100%. Pitching and offense. You got to have everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, game 3, 2 rookies, no idea what's gonna happen.
I have no clue. They've both been performing really well this year. They both have an ERA under 3, obviously a small sample size, so really anything can happen, but it's definitely something to look out for.
Yeah, and I do predict it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game. I don't feel like it's going to be a blowout like one way or the other.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another close game. I think every game of this series is going to be a close game. I mean, obviously they're still in Yankee Stadium, so there's a home field advantage, but anything could happen, dude. We've talked about the Red Sox offense in the past and how they're one of the best like overall teams in baseball, so they're going to put up a fight every time.
Yeah, definitely. So that'll transition us into the National League now, and we're going to start out with the Dodgers and the Reds, and I'm calling this the sad salary series because there is a $230 million difference between these two teams' payrolls. And the Dodgers are going full blue pill while the Reds are going red pill real hard right now. And this is the only wild card series out of the 4 to not go to game 3.
Yeah. I mean, it was dominance from the Dodgers for the most part. Like, the offense was just overwhelming for the Reds. Obviously, I was very excited that the Reds were in the playoffs, but then seeing that they were going up against the Dodgers in the first round, you think, okay, well, this is probably going to be one of the toughest series that they have if they make it any further. And the Dodgers just show that they are still one of the best teams in baseball.
Yep, and they got to play at home too, which is even...
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, but like, the Dodgers scored 18 runs in this series. They had 28 hits overall in 2 games. It was a massacre. I mean, game 1 in particular, like, the Dodgers offense was just overwhelming. 8 of their 10 runs were scored on home runs. You know, Shohei Ohtani with a leadoff home run in the first inning. And then Teoscar Hernandez and Tommy Edman hit back-to-back home runs in the 3rd inning. Make it 5-0. Teoscar Hernandez hits his 2nd home run in the 5th inning. Shohei Ohtani hits his 2nd home run in the 6th inning. It was nonstop. And it was a really tough start for Hunter Green, his first postseason start. I was very excited to see how he would perform, but gave up 5 runs in 3 innings. It was just a really tough day for him. And going up against Blake Snell, who had a great start, only allowing 2 runs on a couple singles from Austin Hayes and Spencer Steer, and then a double from Tyler Stevenson. But other than that, he was dominant. He only gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, struck out 9 batters.
Yeah. Although, again, the Dodgers, their bullpen, still messy. It's still an issue.
Yeah.
2 guys allowed 3 earned runs before recording 2 outs. Luckily, the offense made up for it, but this is not sustainable if they want to actually make a really deep postseason run. The bullpen's got to hold it down, because if you don't have a good bullpen, why are you even in the playoffs?
Yeah, 100%. Like, it doesn't matter how strong the starting pitching is and how many great starting pitchers they have. Yamamoto, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Clayton Kershaw. Like, if you don't have enough guys who can come in the game after them, then once you get to those series, like if you face the Phillies or if you face the Brewers, you're not going to get away with that as much as you are against a team like the Reds. No disrespect to the Reds. I love the Reds, but they were playing close to 500 ball this year. So when you go up against a team with like 95 wins, it's going to be a totally different story, and you're going to have to find another way to win. But yeah, Blake Trinan has kind of been their only like consistent guy, but lately he has been struggling. So it's what we're going to have to, the Dodgers are going to have to lock in. I guess, you know, they're going to have to make some changes, even though it was a great day for them offensively.
Yeah, it's just really interesting how you can still find like the cracks in the armor despite all the success sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Like a good way to like put that is the Dodgers as a team, they tallied 15 hits this game, including multi-hit games from 5 different players. But as a team, they also struck out 12 times. And I make this point also because the Reds also struck out 12 times, but the disparity in hits and runs between them is obviously very prevalent.
Yeah. Wow. The Dodgers do have flaws on their team, you know, like no matter how many like big name guys they have, they're showing the weaknesses that they have, and some better teams are going to take advantage of that.
Yeah, exactly. Like the Reds, they were not contending in the playoffs for the entire year until like the final 3 games, basically. Like they were really close to that final wild card spot, but they were never actually in it until the Mets went.
Yeah.
Again, just the Reds pitching troubles. It's not good. And they also were just 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position, left 7 on base. This is just like a consistent pattern for losing teams here.
You really have to clutch up in these situations. When you get runners in scoring position and when you get opportunities to score runs, you need to score as many as you can.
Yeah. And if you're having pitching troubles and your offense is only getting like hot at the end of the game versus the bullpen, it's too little, too late. Like it feels like an Angels game at that point. Although,
Yeah.
you know, the Angels, they actually probably would have beaten the Dodgers given their history.
Because we turn into the best team in baseball when we face the Dodgers.
Yeah, but not against anybody else, just the Dodgers.
Pretty much.
Not good. In game 2, again, just a similar story, 8-4 final. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, again, pitched amazing. He's probably going to be one of the best pitchers for the next 10 years.
Honestly, yeah, there was so much hype around him when he came over from Japan, and he's absolutely been living up to it, dude. He's like 27 years old, probably going to finish top 5 in Cy Young this year, and I imagine he's probably going to win Cy Young at least once at some point.
Yeah, and he gave the Dodgers exactly what they needed. 6 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 9 Ks, and only 2 earned runs from the bullpen this time. Pretty good. But again, the Dodgers were able to slug in 8 runs of offense, so that was enough to hold them over. Mookie Betts, 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs, including 2 doubles.
Yeah, man, it was a huge game for Mookie. He's had a tough season offensively. You know, he hasn't seemed like himself, like up to his standards lately. I mean, it's his lowest OPS in his career by 71 points in a season, but it's still an above average OPS plus. Like he's still Mookie Betts. He's going to be good forever. Yeah. But he's just been getting really unlucky. He's in the 100th percentile of squared up percentage this year. There is nobody in the league who is better at squaring up the ball than Mookie Betts, and he hit like 258 this year. It was just a weird season, but I mean, don't be surprised if he has an incredible postseason. He's probably going to break out. If the Dodgers win the World Series, he might end up being their MVP, because I don't expect him slowing down at all, you know.
Yeah, and if you can pull off going 4 for 5 with multiple extra base hits, multiple RBIs, like that is exactly what a team needs, on top of, you know, their pitching just doing great. Like that game showcased exactly what the Dodgers needed to do to a degree. I mean, some of those little flaws were still there, like the bullpen, still having some issues, but it's not too much to to affect anything badly. I mean, they still swept at the end of the day, despite all of this.
Yeah, honestly. And if Mookie Betts can continue to do this, then it's going to be a huge deal. Like him being a spark plug for that offense is going to be massive, and it's going to take them a long way. And if Yoshinobu Yamamoto keeps having starts like he is having, that's also going to take them a long way because he was excellent in this game.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, man. He's one of my favorite pitchers to watch too.
Yeah. So sad to see the Reds go. I do see a lot of Reds fans currently complaining about salary caps, and I understand. And I think teams should be obligated to have their owners invest more in the team and not treat it like a long-term stock that'll grow in 30 years or so. But at the same time, despite all this, the Reds do need to be applauded for their effort to even make the playoffs this year, because it came down to the very last game and they cut the Mets out just to get swept. Maybe they saved them from a similar fate. Maybe the Mets could have gone all the way in a different universe, but I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, man. I mean, I get why fans would be frustrated and why players would be frustrated, because like the team is clearly doing everything they can. They are really trying. They really wanted to make the playoffs, and they achieved that goal, but they're just not really getting the support from higher ups. They're not really like building around the guys that they want to build around. They're not making the moves necessary. So yeah, it's hopefully in the future the Reds can kind of build off this season, because they did show a glimpse of what they're capable of.
Yeah, for sure. And they definitely deserve to be a recognized team, like one that can contend.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So that takes us to our final series, Padres versus Cubs. And game one had a 3-1 final of the Cubs winning. And honestly, this game really just came down to 3 swings by 3 different guys, and everyone on the Cubs just locking in on defense. Have solo home runs by Suzuki and Kelly, comboed with an 8th inning sac fly by Nico Horner, and that was all the Cubs needed from their bats to secure this win, fortunately.
Yeah, it was another low-scoring game, another really close game. I love that so many of these playoff games have been competitive and very close. It's great time for baseball. And the Padres would score their only run of the game on back-to-back doubles by Jackson Merrill and Xander Bogaerts. And from there, that was all they could do, because it was a good start for Matt Boyd. He went 4 1/3 innings, only gave up 1 run. And then the bullpen came in and shut it down completely. They retired 14 straight batters, did not allow a single base runner from any reliever in the bullpen. It was insane. We talked about how good the Padres bullpen is. The Cubs bullpen was incredible in this game. They struck out almost half the batters they faced, and it was just exactly what the Cubs needed. They would get that insurance run thanks to some small ball in the 8th inning, which I love to see it. Just sack bunt, move them over, get the 3rd, and then the sack fly. And sometimes that's all you need to do in a playoff game when the bullpen is going to be that good, and when your pitching in general is going to be nails, then yeah, that's going to be enough for the win.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is the Cubs offense 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position today. So they supplemented it with some solo homers and some sac flies at least.
Yeah, they found a way. I mean, you've mentioned they're not the only team that has been struggling with runners in scoring position. That seems like a common thread for a lot of these playoff teams, but they still managed to find a way.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is, going off that point, the Padres went 2 for 7 with runners in scoring position, but they did not win the game. They had 1 RBI double, and the other hit couldn't get the runner past third base.
Man, yeah, that's not going to do it.
No, and what's tough is Nick Pivetta should not have gotten the L for this game either. He went 5 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned, no walks, and 9 Ks. He did phenomenal. And the bullpen only gave up 1 earned run as well, but the offense just completely failed the Padres in this one.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a really tough loss for Nick Pivetta to get credited for that loss. I mean, he was incredible. He has been great for the Padres all year, one of the most consistent pitchers in the National League. and it was another great performance for him. But the offense just wasn't able to back him up.
Yep. But like most of these series, game 2 is a completely different story from game 1, and the Padres literally hit the Cubs with a reverse card, and they brought in the best pitching that they could have asked for. Dylan Cease, 3 hits, no runs, and the bullpen as a whole, 1 hit, no runs, and another 6 Ks.
Yeah,
Just
man.
Crazy.
Yeah, an incredible pitching performance for the Padres all around. Dylan Cease taken out pretty early in this game. I think he was at about 70 pitches, but got taken out after 3 2/3 after allowing 2 base runners. Didn't give up any runs, but the manager seemed to have a short leash on him because he has been inconsistent this year. We've talked about his inconsistencies. You never know when the Cubs can get on him and have a big inning. So it turned out being a good decision. It worked out really well for the Padres. I mean, he brought in Adrian Morejon right after, probably like the earliest he's came into a game all year. He's been he retired 7 batters in a row. He's probably going to win reliever of the year. I mean, he's just been incredible. He's got like 13 wins as a reliever this year, which is stupid. I don't understand that at all. But I mean,
That's insane.
It's unbelievable, man. Yeah, he's been incredible, and the Padres bullpen in general has been incredible. Mason Miller would come in after him, and he was absolutely dominant. In these first 2 games, he struck out the first 8 batters that he faced in his postseason debuts. Like over the first 2 games, he was sitting at 103 miles an hour on his fastball. Sitting, he averaged 103 miles an hour on his fastball, and he also recorded the hardest pitch ever recorded in the postseason since they started keeping track, at 104.5 miles an hour, and it's genuinely a perfect location. People have been saying it's one of the best pitches that they've ever seen thrown, and I really can't argue with it because it was unbelievable. It was just painted perfectly, as low of a strike as it could be, as outside of a strike as it could be, and there was nothing Carson Kelly could do about it but walk back to the dugout. It was just unbelievable. And Mason Miller is, there are rumors that they're trying to turn him into a starter next year. So if that ends up working out, like if they turn him into what Crochet is doing, like then it's going to be incredible. But he, regardless of when he is pitching in the game, he is going to be one of the best pitchers for a long time.
Yeah. Him as a starter, I'm kind of worried. I just hope he doesn't wreck his arm. That's all I'm worried about. And like with that prospect.
Yeah, totally. It's an understandable worry, especially because like how hard he throws. He's obviously at a higher risk of it, but I don't imagine you could probably drop a couple miles an hour. Maybe he sits like 98, 99 as a starter. He can go a little bit further in the game, but maybe he needs to talk to Aroldis Chapman because he's been throwing 100 miles an hour for 16 years, and he has missed more time due to a tattoo infection than arm injury. So, like, I don't know. He's just been one of the most consistent pitchers, but Mason Miller can absolutely take that mantle from him. Yeah.
Super awesome. Love watching him pitch. And yeah, that pitch that you're talking about, the 104 on the corner, that was so insane.
It was unbelievable. And he would do great in this game. Didn't allow a run. He did hit 1 batter, but that was the only base runners he allowed. And then Robert Suarez came in, and he's also been one of the best pitchers in baseball. He had the most saves in the National League this year. And he would shut the game down. And this was actually the first time since the wild card games turned into the wild card series that the home team that won game 1 at home lost the second game at home. No team has ever lost the second game at home in a wild card series after winning the first game. They were 7-0 in the second game, and this is the first time that a team lost. The Cubs lost.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
First for everyone. Hey, at least it wasn't the Twins.
Yep. That's true. Yep.
I feel like that's something the Twins would do.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a Twins thing for sure.
Angels would just lose the first 2. We just get it out. We just get out the way.
Yeah, get it out of the way. No hope.
Yeah.
Don't get the hopes up.
Yeah.
So
and
also going to a game 3 matchup, The pitching matchup is going to be Jameson Taillon versus Yu Darvish, a couple veterans. It's going to be Unk status in the game, so gonna interesting to see what's going to happen. Yu Darvish has been struggling since coming back from the injured list, so yeah, you don't know. It's probably going to be advantage to Cubs.
Yeah, that's going to be an awesome pitching matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Yeah. And also, in game 2, the Cubs used 6 pitchers, so they need to get some good rest for the game today.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's very important for Jameson Taillon to go deep into this game.
Yeah. And the Cubs need to get more than 4 hits and not strike out 11 times as a team.
Yeah.
I think if all those things can happen, the Cubs have a chance.
Yeah, true. And I mean, the Padres have used Adrian Morejon and Mason Miller in both games, and in the second game they both threw 2 innings plus. So, I mean, obviously they're gonna try to find a way. It's playoff baseball. You got to do what you got to do. But I mean, for this to be the first series for them, if they're gonna make a long push, they're gonna be using that bullpen a lot.
Yeah, there's no way Miller's not going in again tonight.
Yeah, I feel like they need him to be ready to go tonight in like any situation.
It'd be cool if they used him as an opener though, low key.
Man, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, honestly, just like, because then you can kind of like just see how far he can go. You know, kind of gauge like you plan for him to go like 1 or 2 innings, but if he's going into the 3rd inning and he's given up 1 hit, let him keep going. You know.
Yeah.
But hey, if he gets his first major league start after being a reliever and he gets it in the playoff game, I think that'd be really cool.
That would be really cool.
That'd be really cool.
So yeah, that is the playoff update. We have 3 more games going on today, and we will be definitely recapping those games when they happen for sure. And probably by the time we get to our next MLB episode, we'll also be recapping some of the division series games that have happened as well. So we'll throw all those in there. Whatever is the most current, up-to-date information, that is what we will give y'all, because that is what y'all deserve. So that does it today for the Sci-Fly Zone. If you guys made it this far, thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. If you guys like sci-fi stuff like Marvel, DC, we cover a lot of that. Again, we'll have a Marvel Zombies video coming out soon as Disney makes a decision. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been the Sci-Fi Zone, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.